Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be on the topic of money, and I actually asked you guys on Instagram how you felt about that, and pretty much it was unanimous. Most everyone wanted to see some videos on paying off debt, saving thousands of dollars, and working towards financial freedom. So I figured I would start sharing that process with you guys of, kind of like how I budget and sort of different changes I've made over the years. Okay, so here's some of our main money saving tips for paying off debt, and this is specifically geared towards paying off debt or saving money. So whatever, like wherever you're at, this is geared towards really cutting those costs, really whittling them down, so you make sure that you have money to get that debt knocked out or to get that savings account, built up as quickly as possible. So it might not apply to everyone, but these are just our own personal tips. Okay, money saving tip number one is to write out a monthly budget, and you want to write a fresh new budget for every single month. That way, if your expenses vary, obviously if you're going to be paying off debts, then your expenses are going to be changing, and you'll want to kind of, reallocate money to different areas, maybe different categories, but at least you'll know what expenses are coming at you that month and what your income is going to be. Or if you have an inconsistent income, you can at least kind of have your projected average income. I know it can be hard if you work on commission-based sales or something like that to know what your income is going to be. Sometimes it can be really high one month and then really low the next month, but at least it'll give you kind of a grounding sort of idea for what expenses are going to be coming at you and what income you are probably going to have to work with. So for example, I like to do the zero-based budget, which I got that idea from Dave Ramsey and his daughter Rachel Cruz. I love watching them on YouTube and then listening to his radio station. I think they are awesome. They have such good advice for being able to pay off debt and really, tackle it and get that out of there so you can become financially free and you don't have to have bills or loans hanging over your head. My second tip is to look for any bills that you can eliminate. So maybe there are some unnecessary bills that you don't absolutely have to have, and that's something that you want to look at. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. I know for me, Michael and I used to have gym memberships and we cut that out. Another one would be like a landline phone. If you already have a cell phone, maybe you don't need to have both. I know that that's something Michael and I did too, was we eliminated our landline phone, and so now we only have our cell phones. Another thing we did was several years ago we sold our second vehicle. So we used to actually have two trucks. I take full responsibility for purchasing a brand new vehicle at a time in my life when I really shouldn't have, because if I couldn't pay cash for it, then I really couldn't afford it. I could afford the monthly payments, but I didn't need to buy a $22,000 truck, at the time. It was not a smart idea. I will never purchase a brand new vehicle off the lot again. I will only buy used from now on, and I'm only paid cash for that used vehicle. But I do have, a truck. It's paid off. I worked really hard to pay it off. That's the truck that we have right now, the Toyota Tundra, and Michael also had a truck before too. He had another Toyota. So we ended up selling his truck and only keeping mine. Okay, tip number three is to cancel subscriptions. So maybe you have, some magazine subscriptions. I know I used to have Fitness Magazine, Shape, what was the other one? Oxygen Magazine, the fitness magazines. I was really into those years ago. So I would get those every once in a while. I get a subscription to them, and now I don't do that anymore because all the information is free online. And if I'm already paying for internet, then I don't really need any of these magazines anymore. So I quit any subscriptions that I had, canceled any of those. Otherwise, there might be other types of subscriptions, box samples. I know here on YouTube, the box sample, beauty sample boxes are really popular, and that's definitely an expense that if you're trying to pay off a debt, you definitely don't need to have something like that hanging over your head either. But yeah, once again, it just varies on your personal situation and your personal finances and where you're at, and it's going to vary from person to person, right? So I'm not trying to take, as I'm going over these, I'm I'm not trying to take the fun out of your life or anything, because it's actually not. It's actually quite the opposite. Budgeting is so freeing, and cutting expenses and bills, it's ooh, it can really make you feel empowered and just so motivated to just really work towards that financial freedom. And you can see it, you can almost taste it, and it's just really exciting, Okay, the next tip is to eat at home as often as possible instead of eating out. And Michael and I used to go out to eat once a week, and then we ended up scaling back when we realized how much money we were spending doing that. We scaled back to once a month or once every couple of months, and we'll just go out to our favorite restaurant. And even then, we usually end up splitting whatever we're getting or just splitting a single meal. And it really works out to be so much cheaper and save us so much more money. Yet we're still, we're still not like restricting ourselves. Like, you still get to go out and have fun. It's just less often going and doing it out and paying, like full retail price or restaurant prices. And instead, if you're doing like a date night or something, you can always make a nice dinner at home and just do other things that are less expensive instead of going out to like a fancy restaurant or something. And also, if you work outside the home, you can always pack your lunch. And it's not possible in all cases depending on what you do for a living, but you can always pack your lunch at home if it's possible and bring it to work with you. Michael actually started doing that too for himself, instead of going out to a cafe or something and buying lunch out every day, which can really add up at the end of the week. Okay, money saving tip number 5 was the big one for me, and that is to quit buying expensive beverages or lattes. I used to go out and buy a latte every single day, and that really adds up at the end of the month. Oh my goodness. So I know it can be a hard one for some people to let go of, but it is so worth it to, especially like, sorry, there's construction going on, especially if you have debt that you're serious about paying off. Buying a latte every day, for $4 or whatever it is not a good priority to have. Like, priorities are backwards if you're not paying off your debt, but you're going out and buying $4 or $5 lattes. So just something to consider. Watch out for those beverages. It's not just the food, it's, those quick little beverage expenses, drive-thrus, whatever. Just watch out for those. And this is actually still an area that Michael's trying to work on. He's trying to work on cutting back, buying those out and about beverages and coffees. So what I did, instead of going out and buying, smoothies or lattes or something, I just started making them at home. And then you can pour it into whatever nice little glass or cup that you have, to-go cup, and then take it out with you, and then you're all set. You already have your beverage. You don't have to you don't have to pay that $5 bill to go get your latte out and about or something, Okay, the next tip has to do with entertainment. So any type of entertainment where you're going out and spending money on that entertainment. For us, it was going to the movies. And so we actually stopped going to the movies entirely. I can't remember the last time we went to the movie theater, but that was a really expensive bill. And I think that we used to go like, gosh, I don't know, probably like once every 2 weeks or something. So like twice a month at least, we would end up going to the movie theater, probably spending like $25, because the tickets, I don't know what it is in other places, but out here it's like, $20 almost for 2 people to go to the movie theater. And then you tack on like any little snacks or beverage or something that you buy, and then all of a sudden before you know it, you've spent like $25, $30 just going to see one movie that lasts 2 hours. And that can really add up. So entertainment, whatever your, entertainment of choice is, out and about, that's another area that you're able to, like prioritize, maybe trim that down a bit and see what you can do to eliminate those sort of expenses. And then another one kind of falls into the same category, that is no cable TV. Michael and I do not have any cable TV. In fact, we don't even own a TV at all. So yeah, especially if you're working on getting out of debt, having a cable TV bill is not something that is necessary. You can definitely eliminate that. And nowadays there's Hulu, there's Netflix, there's Amazon, you can stream movies and TV shows on all of those, and it would be so much cheaper, than paying for a cable TV bill. Okay, the next money saving tip is very old-fashioned, but it really does work. Just reducing utilities wherever possible. So just kind of trimming those utilities down a bit, because it's something that you do have to pay every single month. You need your electricity and water, but if you can reduce that bill by at least a little bit, that can, that's better than nothing, right? That's a little more money that you're able to take and put towards whatever debt you're trying to pay off. So just remembering to do the basics, like turning off lights when you leave a room. Even Michael and I, we turn off the water heater during the day. We just leave it off all day long until, just before we're ready to take our showers, an hour before we flip it on. That way it's not, heating water all day long when no one's even home, So that's just a little thing that we do, and that actually cuts our electric bill down like quite a bit. And also we don't have a dryer, and so that also cuts our electricity down, quite a bit too. But even in the future, if I do have a dryer, I will still try to use it as little as possible if I do have a yard where I'm able to hang dry clothes out in the sunshine instead. And another bill you might be be able to reduce is your cell phone bill. If you go and talk to your carrier, maybe you can get either a better plan, a less expensive plan, or maybe, you know, use less data. There might be an option out there to help reduce your cell phone bill. Alright, the next tip is making a food budget, and that way you're able to stick to a certain amount of money every week for your food and not go over that. And that's something that Michael and I started doing, so I can always explain more of that in another video though, you know, or a budget video or something. But yeah, sticking to a food budget, you know, for your groceries can be huge because that is something that you are in control of, and the cost can vary wildly. It can definitely fluctuate in the food category. And our number one beverage of choice is water. We just drink, you know, we have our filters like on our tap, and so we just drink that instead of like going out and purchasing, you know, juices or other types of beverages. Okay guys, this next tip is definitely not for everyone, but it's something that I've had to do, and that is holding off on pets. And I love pets so much. I've had pets my entire life, but right now I am holding off on having any pets because I know I have some bills I have to pay off. I have a lot of dentistry work that I'm going to be paying on as soon as my Invisalign's finished, and I know that's going to be coming at me, and I'm not in a position right now in my life where I'm able to own pets, even though I would love to so badly. I would love to have some little fuzzy animals. You know, they are kind of another expense, and you do have to add them into your budget. You know, the dog food, the cat food, whatever type of little animal that you have, that does also have to be in your budget. Anyway, so it's not something that I'm able to have in my budget right now. Okay, this next tip is going to be really hard for some and really easy for others, and that is no weekly shopping trips. I used to be in the habit of, you know, if you watch me for a long time, then you already know this, but I used to either go buy makeup or clothes or something. Like every week I would go out, you know, shopping at a store or online or something, and, you know, buy myself something because I felt like I deserved it because I worked hard all week, and so I'd treat myself, you know, but I was treating myself all the freaking time, and it was like, it was not good decision making on my part, which I fully admit. I loved shopping, and it was becoming too much of a hobby for me, and I realized that, and I realized that, okay, I'm not making smart decisions for my financial future and financial freedom for the future, so I need to make a change. And so I made that change, changed my behavior, changed my habits, changed my hobby from shopping to, you know, other sorts of hobbies that were much less expensive. So anyway, Ross, TJ Maxx, Target, Sephora, those were some of my favorite places to shop every single week. And now oops, I just hit my book. So and now I don't. Alright guys, so those are our own personal tips I want to share with you for this video. So something else that I want to mention is also that budgeting can be so much fun. Once you're starting to see progress and you're really motivated to either pay off your debt or to just build your savings, all you need to do is see that little spark of progress, and it can really light a fire inside of you. And if you're working, you know, on a budget with your partner, or, you know, your husband or wife or whatever, or you're working with your kids and you're trying to get them kind of involved in the budget, just make it fun. Make it like a game, like, you know, how little can you spend this month? You know, what little expenses can you cut this month? And just make it fun, and it can actually be really enjoyable, you know, sticking to a budget, saving money, seeing that little bit of progress. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.